Spring is almost here, and that means it is thru-hiker season, and you may be wondering if you're planning a thru-hike or a long section hike, should I vlog my trip? We're going to talk about that today and give you some considerations and things to think about that maybe have not yet crossed your mind. I cannot begin to tell you how happy I was this morning when I woke up and I saw sunshine and blue skies. So last year when I started my thru-hike attempt of the Appalachian Trail, I decided to go ahead and vlog. That was something I had never done before, and I'm a bit of an introvert, so it was a big step for me, but I wanted to have the camaraderie and the accountability of putting myself out there for everybody to see and share and get feedback. So I took the leap and I ended up really enjoying the process. As you can see, I've continued on after my hike and it's been very good for me, but it's not good for everybody. So let's talk about some of the things that you need to think about before you make that big step of vlogging a thru-hike. The first question that you should ask yourself is, why are you doing this? Is it that you want fame and fortune? Odds are you're probably not going to get it. Do you want accountability and support like I did? That's a good reason to do it. Maybe you just want a trail journal, a video trail journal for your friends and family. You can do that through a blog, you can do it privately, or you can do it on a public blog on YouTube or even on Instagram or Facebook if you choose. Another thing I find is that some people think that by being on YouTube that they can make a lot of money, and honestly it is not a good income stream. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers at this point and a certain number of views, a certain number of hours of views in order to be able to even qualify for getting your channel monetized. And then when you do, you may at best make, $50, $100, $150 a month. So that's nice pocket change, but it is not going to make you a wealthy person. So don't do it for the money, but do think about it if it's something that you really want to create, if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy sharing your hike, and if you know there are people out there who would like to follow along. The next thing to think about is logistics. When you are thru-hiking or doing a long section, anytime that you're out on the trail with your video equipment, you have to think about, how am I going to keep things charged? You may need to spend more time in town to get your equipment charged up, and even what is that equipment? So are you going to record on your phone like I do? Do you need a separate camera? Do you need a GoPro? If you don't already have those, how much is that going to cost and add to your budget? I'll put some links down below to some of the tools that I used on my thru-hike. Some of them I started with and opted not to carry because of the weight, but they're all good resources for someone who's thinking about vlogging, so I'll put those down there for you to take. I, as I said, chose to do my iPhone, which was a really simple solution for me, because if I had a separate camera, I would need to carry extra batteries and probably some SD cards, maybe a lot of SD cards, maybe a lot of extra batteries. I would have extra things to charge up when I'm in town, so I might need a bigger backup battery, and I just used a 10,000 milliamp Anchor battery, which actually lasted me about a week on the trail for my phone. So I didn't have to carry all that extra equipment, but for some people, especially if they're very artistic about their approach to recording, they may want a special camera, they may want that extra equipment, but just keep in mind that that's going to be extra things, extra stuff that you need to charge. It's going to take extra time and it's going to be extra weight. So if you're an ultralighter, you may not want to have that extra weight along for the ride. How often will you be posting? Can you post every day? That's pretty challenging. Do you want to post once a week? And if so, are you going to have a delay on your videos? Are they going to be pretty much in real time? If they are, you have to think about the fact that people are going to know where you are and when you're there. And that may or may not be something that you really want to share. In addition to frequency of posting, you have to think about, how are you going to get those videos from your camera to a final production video. So are you going to use iMovie or LumaFusion, which is the software that I use, or some other editing system to get your videos polished up and ready to go? How are you going to do graphics? Are you going to create graphics for the intro of your video? Can you get that done beforehand? And then are you going to optimize on YouTube so that people can actually find you? That's a bit of a work and a learning curve in itself. You can certainly just put your videos up there and hope that people will find you, but if you really are into sharing and you want to have a following, then you're going to want to understand how to do SEO on YouTube. And that, it's not difficult, but it is a learning curve. Now you may also want music on your videos, and a lot of people think they can just grab a song and put it up there and be good to go, but you're not. You have to use royalty-free music, otherwise YouTube will pull you down for a copyright violation. Now there are places out there where you can get royalty-free music, and it's probably a good idea if you think you want a lot of music in your video to take some time before your hike, download that to your phone or whatever you're going to be using for editing so that you can integrate that into your videos as you're on the trail and not be spending a lot of time, number one, searching for music, and number two, downloading it. A final consideration in logistics is just where you're going to edit. I met one vlogger who said he did his editing at night in his tent, which I think is a popular choice, and he did his posting from the tops of mountains when he had service. I chose a different approach, and I kind of did all my recording on the trail, but then I saved my editing for when I was in town, which certainly meant that if I was done with my chores for the day, that was great, but it might be a little bit of a drain on the social life if you're sitting in a hostel doing video editing instead of being out there hanging out with other hikers. So you have to think about, is that something that you want to do? And then how long does it take you to get your videos uploaded, and where can you get them uploaded? A lot of the towns that had public libraries with free Wi-Fi were good resources for uploading videos. Some of the hostels, not so much. Their Wi-Fi doesn't tend to be great. Now, something else to think about before you even start is, what is the format of your channel? Some hikers love to interview other hikers and trail angels and hostel owners, and that's a great format for them. They do lots of interviews, but they don't share so much about themselves personally. For me, I wanted to just put it all out there. I thought, I'm going to be open and honest and see what people think. I want the feedback. I want the input, good or bad. I got some criticism in certain areas, and that was okay, because that was part of the format that I decided on. Some people just want to create a very visual trail journal, and maybe they don't want to talk a lot about themselves, but they want to show people what the trail is like. Whatever your preference is, you should think about it in advance so that your videos can be somewhat consistent in terms of the style and the design and your approach to shooting them. Now, if your video channel is not just for you and your friends and family, you have to think about, why would people watch this channel? There are lots and lots of vloggers out there, and every year there's a class of thru-hikers that decide to vlog their hikes. So what's going to make you different? If you really do care about the views, why is somebody going to choose your channel over another one? Some people you'll see are really fun and funny and entertaining, and that's great. Other people are really into the videography, and their videos are just absolutely beautiful. I was incredibly honest on my thru-hike about the challenges that I was going through, and just tried to be an open book. And that is what makes me different than some of the other thru-hikers who might only show you the good stuff. And speaking of your audience, one of the things that I really enjoy that helped actually get me through my hike when the times were tough was comments from my viewers. Some people feel a little uncomfortable with those comments and responding to those comments. So if you're very shy or you don't really want to open up, you may have to think about how you're going to respond to the comments on your videos. And then you may also find that people who are watching your videos want to meet you. They may ask if they can come out and hike with you. They may want to do trail magic or other things. So you have to figure, okay, is that going to be okay with me? Am I open to that, open to meeting new people? Or do I want to, kind of keep things to myself a bit? Or maybe you don't want to hike with somebody because you think it might slow you down. Whatever those reasons are, give some thought to that in advance and how you're going to engage with your community, because I guarantee you that if they are taking the time to watch you, they have a vested interest in your hike and they want to know how you're doing. Which brings me to the topic of getting off trail. Everybody who starts the hike, really, if they're not doing a section, they start with the intention of finishing, but the reality is that only about 20 to 25% of people who attempt a thru-hike get finished. When you get off trail, are you going to just disappear and stop posting videos, or are you going to let your community know? It's really important, I think, to stay in touch with your community, even if you do have to get off for a while, and let them know what's going on. I know some folks like PT, who got off fairly early in his hike probation termination. He did a great job of keeping people posted on his recovery and actually his eventual return to the trail and completion of his hike. So kudos to him for keeping everybody informed through that process. Also, at the end of your hike, are you going to keep posting? I decided to, because I've enjoyed it so much and I enjoy the community, but some people say, I'm just going to talk about my hike, and when the hike's over, I'm done. Evan with Evan's backpacking videos did a wonderful job of kind of setting expectations for his channel, that he didn't plan to continue posting after his thru-hike, even though he'd been posting for quite a while before he started his thru-hike. So that level of communication and setting clear expectations for your audience is very helpful for them, and lets you know that you do really appreciate them watching and the time that they're investing in your channel. So those are the main issues to consider when vlogging your thru hike. And if you have other questions, please go ahead and just drop them down in the comments, and I do try to respond. Sometimes it takes me a few days after my video post, but I do try to respond to as many comments as possible, and I always read all of them. So no matter what you have to say, I'm gonna see it. And I do appreciate all of you following, and again, all the support and encouragement that I had on my hike was just absolutely amazing, and I appreciate every ounce of it. So those of you who are getting ready to start, if you've decided to vlog, I hope that you have a wonderful time, that it really adds value to your hike, and that it doesn't end up detracting from it in any way. So good luck, and I thank you all for watching, and make sure that you subscribe down below, and also click the bell to get notified of any new videos that I post. They typically come out on Friday afternoons.